The Kickstarter Crap series covered a broad selection of projects, which if you were to put on any kind of spectrum, weirdness would be a pretty good one. On one end, you'd likely put straightforward projects like terrible gaming channels, shoddy video game projects, and the coolest. And on the other, significantly more strange end, you might put things like the Hummingbird, the Cybermatrix, and perhaps the most baffling project of all, Hilixxia. The project, which has since been deleted from Kickstarter, which we'll get to, leaving us only Ian's video as a source for what it once looked like, was rife with confusion from top to bottom. The weird premise, that of an online auction app which would allow you to own digital images, paid for with real money and serving no real purpose except for existing in the digital gallery, that alone had people scratching their heads. After all, nobody would ever pay real money in order to claim ownership over an image, guaranteed only by a third party which could revoke that ownership as they desire. Looks into camera. But that wasn't all. The images themselves all included one woman, who introduced herself as Sonia in broken Italian, in vaguely softcore imagery which, combined with the bizarre choices in video design and lack of anything substantial in the project or fine details given to potential backers, led many commenters to leave comments like this. This is more of a documentary of a sad, dead-end relationship between a clueless retired/failed businessman and his crazy trophy wife than it is an actual pitch video. I feel like the woman is his wife, and they both think this project is incredibly sexy. They don't seem to understand there's literally no appeal for this to most people. Honey, we're completely broke after our worldwide vacation. Well, we got those pictures of me. We could sell them as softcore porn. Alright, let's do that, but way more complicated. That was pretty good, actually. Reasonable comments, honestly, considering the exact vibe the Kickstarter video gave, but something about it seemed off. Why did Raul here launch it with such ambiguous details to begin with? If they're married, why don't they share a last name? And why is this Italian woman so not Italian she can't even pronounce her own last name correctly?
Buongiorno signore e signore, mi presento Sonia, la direttrice di Hilixxia.
And Raul Velez here claims to be director of original photo design, and Sonia McAfee here is saying she's the art director. There's no mention of them being actually married, so that'd be pure conjecture, as would be to say... Well, let's just start from the top. Normally, I'd go through different sections of the project, Ian's video, social media accounts, and so on, but for Helixia, I actually feel it'd be more interesting for me to take you through the process of uncovering the story, since that alone is rather... interesting. The first stop is of course the Kickstarter project, but oh no! It's been removed, except no, instead of being actually removed, the details of the project, save for reward tiers and updates, have been scrubbed and replaced with the following. The video is now an image of a waterfall, and the title and subtitle read, "Success comes by taking risks. We will continue to succeed. Success is made, not given." Which is amusing considering that they absolutely did not succeed. Either way, unfortunately the project has not been cataloged on Wayback Machine, leaving Ian's video as our only source on how the project and video used to look. But that alone gave me several leads which amounted to the following. The director behind the project, Raul Velez, the woman claiming to be Sonia Matefi, the art director, the company they claim to be representing, Original Photo Design. But still scouring the remains of the project, I came across two posts in the updates section, the third being backer only. And while all of them were still as vague as the video and only promising to show the game gradually to the backers, despite their developer already working hard on the project, while also repeatedly stating that all the images in the video were merely samples, not part of the app itself. But what caught my eye was the following claim, that Raul was organizing a mass advertisement campaign online, mainly on Facebook. Curiously, I tried to look up just that, but here's a couple of things to note. Looking up Hilixxia on Google yields 2 pages of results, and that's it. A portion of these results include the project itself and then some random articles about an Italian model that went around in Italy sucking people off for voting a certain way, but that's got nothing to do with Hilixxia, and I don't know why the article shows up. The only indication of any kind of massive advertising campaign is this post on Facebook, which leads to an article on SB Wire via crowdfunding buzz. This article doesn't give us all too much backstory, but it does give us a slightly clearer image of the plans Raul and Sonia had for the application. Hilixxia is a unique mobile game with a built-in auction system, giving people an enhanced gaming experience. Original Photo Design plans to have the game available for Apple iPhones and iPads as well as Android devices. Players are engaged in the game by choosing 250 photos from 1,000 or more images they would like to win. Once they have picked an image, the fun begins in Hilixxia Casino slot-style game with a twist. To win the images chosen, players must match images played with the image they selected. Gamers are allowed to specify a number of attempts to win that specific image they're shooting for. In other words, this seems like some kind of hybrid between an auction game and a slot machine, which to me sounds like you're doubling your odds of going bust, but what do I know? And that was it. Hilixxia itself seemed to be a dead end, leading me to go back to my other options. First of all, I decided to look up Raul Velez and quickly ran into what I thought would be the biggest hurdle. Namely that Raul Velez was an extremely common Latino name, not helped along by Original Photo Design being an extremely generic and unhelpful name for the company too. But then I looked up Raul Velez Hilixxia. Google provided me with less than one entire page of content, and while the standard "some results may have been removed" blurb at the bottom doesn't actually indicate anything, its words seemed to mock me, and over the course of my search I came to the conclusion that this, or something very similar, had taken place. It appeared as though any reference to Raul Velez in relation to this project or Original Photo Design had been scrubbed from the internet, or at the very least, finding him on Facebook or LinkedIn would prove a nearly impossible task even if he hadn't. But another look through Facebook did provide this post from a small group of people looking for Kickstarter project tips and tricks. I wish them all the luck in the world, and it may fund. But let's use this as an exercise. Try to keep comments professional, please. What are the strong points and weak points of this Kickstarter presentation? Naked ladies. Bad, Paul, bad. Let's keep this all respectable-like. Sorry, you may or may not have asked me this question under the influence. Anyway, near the end of my search for information, I found that a YouTube channel by the name of Howard Sherman had re-uploaded the Hilixxia pitch video. Or by the looks of it, a slightly altered version from the one seen in iDubbbz's Kickstarter crap. Through checking this video, I noticed them advertise a website, originalphotodesign.com. Curiously, I checked that site and, as you would expect, it's now defunct, but the site had actually been repeatedly cataloged by the Internet Archive's crawlers. The earliest capture from 2013 is totally broken, but the 2014 and 2015 ones work just fine. There isn't that much exciting stuff to be found in these pages, but a couple things do stand out. The portfolio contains quite a few images, a good portion of them of Sonia, along with a bunch of artsy nature and travel photos. The portfolio didn't change at all between 2014 and 2015. An oddity is that the About page actually calls the company Unique Design instead of Original Photo Design, and I'm not sure what to make of that. But what I want you to do is to look at a bunch of these photos here and keep them in mind, alright? Meanwhile, by 2016, the archive shows the site as having gone down, and reveals that it had been made in Wix of all things, meaning even I could have made this site at age 12. Raul was a bust, but what about Sonia? Well, first of course, I looked up Sonia Matafafata, but for the full picture, I looked up Sonia Original Photo Design and Sonia Hilixxia. It was through those searches that I discovered this, her LinkedIn account. Except here she didn't go by Sonia Maiden4. Her name here, and what appears to be her legal name actually, was Sonia Yenna. Listed as the owner of Original Photo Design and as art director for Yenna Design, this was unquestionably our woman of the hour. Everything on this profile was listed in the United States, but what about Sonia Matafafafa? Under this name we find a couple of things. a breast pyrography for sale on Fine Art America, and an old LinkedIn profile from Czechia, claiming to do photo shooting, but also being proprietario. Again, random Italian, meaning this also has to be our Sonia. Further confirming her Czech origins, we have this site called penis.cz, which is some kind of Czech finance website where she seems to have an article or something. This page admittedly confuses me and I don't actually speak Czech. At this point, I must slightly disappoint you. If you wanted to know where Hilixxia itself went, or where it came from, or if the development actually got anywhere, I'm afraid the answer to all of those questions would be, I don't know. It probably didn't go anywhere, not publicly at least, and we don't really know where Raul went in all of this. But I assure you, Sonia's own existence is baffling enough. Her LinkedIns are largely dead ends, but she does list original photo design in the Sonia Jena one, where she's listed as the owner. Why did Raul mention being the director at this company while she didn't mention it at all, and why the entire project was designed to make it all seem like Raul's doing is beyond my understanding. Sonia also has a Facebook page which was active pretty recently, though it never posted much. Now again, the profile itself is nothing special, but it's a link in the sidebar that's going to take us down an eventual rabbit hole. It links to an Instagram profile which reads Jena_design. Except of course this profile doesn't exist, at least not anymore, but I'm led to believe it did at one point. So let's just keep this in mind as profile 1. But Google can get our hands on more than just this profile. Profile 2 is Jena.design, with a dot instead of an underscore. Photos of this profile date back to 2017 and are nothing to exactly write home about. Most of them are just fine, but some are a bit low quality for what is supposed to be the work of a professional photographer. And every photo of Sonia herself has a shitty watermark on it. This one's my personal favorite, with a dumb thing placed over her nose, really adding to the effect provided by the terrible Photoshop around her face. This specific image stands out with being extra low quality, and some of you might recognize why. It's a cropped version of the image from the Hilixxia video, presented as a trophy room reward. I suppose Sonia did find this picture just that good, but the hand bra a bit too raunchy to post on Instagram. Here's the kicker about these watermarks though. Remember how I showed you those photos from their website all the way back in 2014? They bore the exact same watermark, S for Sonia. Even back in 2014, and with Hilixxia, it was always Sonia calling the shots, not Raul. Engagement on his profile was low, with only a few simping or obvious bot comments here and there, and likes ranging from about 10 to roughly 40, despite the profile supposedly having nearly 4,000 followers. But wait, there's more. On this particular watermarked image, Sonia's left 2 comments from a different profile, Jena_gallery, a third profile with 8,000 followers, posting images of desert landscapes and garnering almost no engagement in the form of comments, but likes ranging from only a couple to about 350. How peculiar. The description on this profile contains perhaps the most predictable combination of words you could associate with this woman, Hilixxia and her other endeavors in mind. NFT artist author. This profile has another profile tag too, sydesign.world, a profile with a whopping 140,000 followers. Wow, she's a big deal, ain't she? This profile even has way more likes on its posts, several thousands of them, even on these repeat posts which have been made to frame what I presume are the actual NFTs, namely this picture of her looking perturbed, this low resolution black and white pic of her and a Dalmatian, these watches, and lady on a horse. No, yeah, these are all bots. Just clicking through random follower profiles, you'll run into profiles that follow random accounts without posting anything, and a plethora of accounts which have several dozen images on them, but often repeated and every single one posted on the same day. The names on the accounts also often give away exactly what they are. Sonia clearly spent some decent money on buying these followers and likes, but here's the thing. I have no idea what the point of it is. There are no links on any of these profiles. There's nothing to be found in the posts themselves. She doesn't give a link tree or any sort of social media accounts besides these Instagram profiles. No contact emails and no means of purchasing the NFTs, if that's what these things are. Her stories say absolutely nothing either. But even these profiles are nearly as baffling as the last one. Design World follows only one account, and that's sy.animalbooks, which is just a bunch of generic pet photos with no information on them, more botted followers and likes, and a description that says this is a book series, which doesn't exist. Sonia has written no such book, and I don't think she ever intends to. That's 5 profiles in total with nothing to come out of any of them. It is at this point that I had to wonder, am I getting duped? Is this woman even real? Was Raul ever real? Was that his actual name? Is Sonia Yenna the real name? Or a pseudonym like Sonia was? And to answer that question, yeah, she seems to be real. And everything else seems to be verifiable as well, including something which I gave as a slight red herring before. Yenna Design seems to be a legitimate registered business on sites like LinkedIn and open corporates, and it seems like Sonia Yenna is in fact her legal name. Meanwhile, if you recall earlier how I poked fun at the whole trophy wife thing, well, one of the rare instances where I could find anything on Sonia and Raul mentioned together was the following. A legal notice journal from the week of November 23rd, 2018. In other words, these are cases which were heard at the court that week, important here being the fact that the defendant's name comes first in bold. And right here, under divorce, we have it. Yenna Sonia, Velez Raul. I couldn't find more details, but this was also all I needed to know. Raul had applied for divorce, thus confirming both the two of them as having been married and also likely having made Hilixxia as an attempt to light some sort of spark anew. Judging from all the project's sense, Hilixxia was likely Sonia's idea. A half-baked one, as half-baked as all of her following NFT projects and the like. Nothing fully committed to, despite the sums of money she'd invested into them. For all intents and purposes then, Raul Velez himself has gone off the grid, clearing the Kickstarter project of any and all information, and if there ever had been an advertisement campaign, he's scrubbed that information just as clean. With Sonia's projects, half-assed as they are, still ruminating online as recently as 2021 and 2022, I highly suspect she's likely to try her hand at something new soon. If she ever does, I'll throw her on the pile of potential updates alongside Lucic and Caffeine. For now, this is where her story ends. This dive was shorter, and yet I feel as though it was just as thorough as needed. You should expect a few more like this coming in the near future, as well as some other content. Remember to subscribe and leave a like and comment for the algorithm, and I'll speak to you all next time. Or as Sonia would say, tua madre fa sesso violento con I cavalli. Something like that.